Hey everybody, I'm Rob Freeman and welcome back to Insuring the Built Environment. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel below. This week we're answering a question about adding a third party, such as a client, onto your professional liability policy as an additional insured. If you're an architect or an engineer, you may get a request from a building owner or client asking them to be added onto your professional liability policy as an additional insured. And we're going to talk about 3 reasons why it's not really advisable to do that, either for you or for your client. And I think really the reason for the confusion around these types of requests which come in is primarily because it's a common thing for building owners to be added as additional insured onto the general liability policy. General liability covers you for third-party claims of bodily injury and property damage, and so if somebody's injured on a job site and they file a lawsuit against you as the professional services provider and also against the owner, they would be covered as an additional insured under your GL policy. Now, the professional liability world is different. It doesn't really work that way. And so the first reason why it's not really helpful to add a building owner or client onto your professional liability policy as additional insured is that the policy is triggered by the errors and omissions of a service professional in the course of providing services like architectural services or engineering services that you're licensed and legally allowed to provide. And so if the building owner is not actually providing those services, they won't be able to trigger the policy coverage because they weren't actually negligent. There wasn't an error or omission in the course of providing professional services. They're just looking to be made whole because of some financial damage. So there wouldn't be a trigger there, so there wouldn't be coverage for them as an additional insured on your professional liability policy. The second reason is that professional liability policies are designed to pay money for damages on behalf of an insured, on behalf of a named insured, not to a named insured. And so the way that the situation would work is if the building owner was added as an additional insured onto your policy, they wouldn't be able to file a lawsuit against themselves or file a claim against themselves. And the way the wording works is that they would receive a payment on their behalf to who? There's nobody there to pay. So, it doesn't really work the way the language works in the professional liability policy. So that's the second reason why it doesn't really work to have that. And the third reason is that there's a common exclusion in the professional liability policy where architects and engineers can't file what's called an insured on insured lawsuit, or there's an exclusion for insured on insured claims. And so if the owner is listed as an additional insured on your professional liability policy and they file a lawsuit against you, it's going to be denied because of the insured versus insured exclusion. And so while it's possible to add a building owner client onto your professional liability policy, those are 3 reasons why it's not really advisable to do it. And even if you can, even if you agree to it, and the insurance carrier says it's okay, you should just be aware of the fact that if a couple things. So the first is that you could be eroding your limits of liability for claims that are the result of a claim that the building owner, the client, makes on its own behalf. And then if you have to pay a deductible, you may have to pay a deductible for any claim that arises out of something that the building owner is claiming. And you may also be or you may be using your own insurance coverage to pay for claims that the client was negligent for. So if the client was, say, providing professional services in the architectural engineering realm, then in theory, if they were named as additional insured on your policy, they could file a claim on your policy, and then you would be required to not only pay the deductible, but also have your insurance carrier step in and defend and maybe indemnify that client for stuff that you didn't do. Maybe it wasn't even related to the project that you're working on. So anyway, that's kind of it. If you find this video useful, that's great. I hope you do. And if you have questions about your insurance, please feel free to schedule an appointment with me, the link below. Thanks again. I appreciate you watching, and have a great day.